Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be what you would call, or what I would call, a hot topic or topic of the day, maybe even topic of the week, however you want to call it. I'll think about it and decide what I want to call it, because I'm going to be doing a series of stuff like that, things that are in the news, things that are happening in the world, giving you just my opinion on what I think, if I experienced it, what my experience was, all that good stuff. Like, I still plan to do my life series as well. I did a section on marriage. I'll be doing infidelity, sexual abuse, child abuse, surviving domestic violence, all that kind of stuff. As well as this month is Autism Awareness Month, so I'll continue to be doing a lot of things on autism as well. But I wanted to always do this, but just so much was going on. But I thought today was a perfect day to start, because I was watching E-News and they were talking about Jessica Simpson posting a video or a picture, I can't remember which one they said, of either a baby bottle or a bottle with breast milk in it, and her saying that it was a success. And some of her fans didn't care for that, because they felt like she was mom shaming, like she was saying, if you can't breastfeed, you're a failure. And so I'm going to tell you my experience with breastfeeding, and then I'll tell you what I think. I always thought I always knew that if I had children, I wanted to breastfeed, if at all possible, because you never know. Just like my first daughter, I had to work, and my second daughter as well. So neither one of them two I was able to feed, because I was in a place in my life where I had to go back to work soon. But with my youngest two kids, I said, that's it. I want the experience. It's the best milk. It's the healthiest milk. I want to have that experience. And so I was determined to breastfeed them. So, and I always thought I would be a perfect candidate, because I'm a big boob person. And I felt like if the bigger your boobs, the more milk you had, which is crazy. There might be some tiny truth to that. Maybe none at all. I don't know. I haven't really researched it. But that's what I was thinking. Oh my God, I have big boobs. I'm going to be a perfect person to breastfeed, because I have tons of milk and stuff like that. And I did have a lot of milk. The milk volume or amount was no problem. Boy, did I have a lot of milk. But when I breastfed my son, I just thought you just stick the boob in the mouth and away you went. I didn't know that there actually had to be a technique to breastfeeding. And so he wasn't latching on correctly. And so they sent a nurse to my home, or somebody that was professional in lactation, to try to get the baby to latch on the right way, to try to get me to position the breast in the right way. We invested in breast feeding pillows. There was a stool that they said I should get that lifts your foot up, that puts your body and your breasts in a good position. There was the football method, where you hold your baby kind of like a football, and that would help them latch on. And then they were telling me, just put the nipple on the baby's tongue. And once the tongue kind of comes out the longest or the best, that then you put in the breast, and that's how they would latch on, and not latch on with their gums. And no matter what I did, no matter what the help I got, my son just wasn't trying to latch on. And I thought, this sucks, because I have these big boobs, and I really wanted this experience, and why isn't it going right? I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm trying everything I'm supposed to try. But I tried it for 3 months. I breastfed him. I stuck with it. He did obviously drink, but it was hurting me so bad. He was cutting up my nipple, and I was just pushing through the pain. I was just like, and nowadays, I'm sure they have so much stuff out there that can help you now more than back then. We're talking 1995. So now they have these nipple shields that the baby can latch on. And if it's not latching on correct, it could still feed good, but it would save you from being bit or in pain. I mean, they can't bite. They don't have teeth, but their gums are that strong. They have all this stuff that helps nowadays. So lucky moms, and I'm so happy for them. So yeah, so 3 months was as much as I can take. And I thought, okay, I just, I got to go back to work anyway. So at some point. So maybe this is enough. I gave him a good start, but it was still so sad to me. Just there just was a void there, that why was this happening to me? I wanted to breastfeed my baby so bad, and I felt like I was this perfect candidate. Why? When I see so many people breastfeeding like nothing to it, pop up the boob, and it just looks so beautiful and so relaxing, and I don't know. So I thought, okay, I knew I wasn't done having kids, so I thought, there'd be a good chance that I would have another chance to try it. So sure enough, I got a message from my daughter. I had another child, which is my youngest daughter, Carolina, and I thought, okay, it's got to work this time. I know what to buy. I know how to position. I know what to do, And of course, there was no YouTube back then. I don't even think, no, there's no Google. You just had to learn by word of mouth, friends, family, research like articles, or ask doctors and professionals. And I did that. And I just couldn't do it. So when I had her, I thought, this is going to be great. This is another chance that I have to do it. And this will probably be my last chance, because more than likely that was going to be my last child. Kind of knew. So I start to breastfeed her, and at first she latched on. It looked like, oh, this was going to be a success. She's going to latch on. Shortly, the same thing, the latching on wrong, no matter what, pillow or tool, or no matter how the lady said, let the tongue come out. You keep putting your nip on it until the tongue sticks out because they want it. And then you really insert the boob in. I was doing everything I can and then some, because I had read articles and talked to other professionals. Nothing. She was tearing me up. Now, my daughter was born December 16th. This is 1997. And no, her gums were biting me to the ground, even worse than my son. But I stuck it through. I thought, I'm going to push through. I'm going to stick with it. This is just something maybe that I have to go through, and I just have to push through, And so I kept sticking with it, but it got to the point where I was starting to bleed from the nipple. And then I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the breast pump and pump the milk so that I could fill these bottles up. And I got those bottles that looked like a mother. They were even flow, I believe. I'm not sure, but it was supposed to imitate the mother's real breast. I don't know if you're talking about, if I find a picture, I'll insert it when I edit the video. But yeah, and I put in that bottle so that she could still get the healthiest breast milk, even though I wasn't going to have that experience of giving it to her directly. So, but what I didn't know is the more you pump, the more you produce milk. And if the baby's not eating it directly from you, you can't catch up. So it got to the point where I was getting this amazing amounts of supply of milk, but it was affecting my breast because my breast believed that the baby was eating it, so it had to produce more, or drinking it, I should say. And so my breast got incredibly enlarged. And then it had red spots all over it. And then it was like rocks. And then I was in so much pain. But here I am pushing through, saying, I'll get through this. I'll get through this. My mom was still alive at the time. I was crying all the time, telling her how much pain I was having and how difficult this was. But it meant everything to me, and it was the healthiest for the baby. So no matter what I had to sacrifice, I was going to do it. And it got to the point where Christmas Eve came around, and I was in so much pain, and I started to have fever like crazy. We went to a friend's house because she invited us for Christmas Eve. So I kind of took a shower, kind of sucked it up, went to her house. My body was just saying something is really, really wrong. So she said, hey, lay down on the couch. Don't stress yourself. Don't work yourself up. Just lay down. As long as you're here, we'll enjoy it, and everybody will take care of the baby. And so my husband just was so concerned, and he kept taking my temperature, and it got to, I was like 106. And then I was jumping. I said, you know what? We got to go. And during these days, I was shaking so bad. But that day I was shaking till I felt like my body was going to break. Okay, my husband just came home and I had to pause it to talk to him. But anyway, I think I was saying, so we were at my friend's house and my husband had took my temperature. It was 106. I was shaking. I mean, literally shaking. And I tried to take hot showers and to, warm up my body, I should say. Nothing was helping me. And my husband said, that's it. And she lived 1 hour and 45 minutes, almost 2 hours away from the hospital. So my husband said, that's it. Let's go. We're going to take your mom home so she could stay with the baby. I'm going to take you to the hospital. So we did. Soon as I got in the hospital, they realized that what I had was a horrible, horrible breast infection. It was from pumping the milk. First of all, I was cut up. The nipples were cut up so bad. Like I said, I had been pumping to make sure she was still getting breast milk while I healed. So that's why I was pumping the milk and making sure she was still getting the milk while it would give me a chance to heal. But it wasn't working like that because my body felt like she's drinking all this milk, so we need to produce more milk. And so I was in a horrible infection. So they immediately admitted me into the hospital, put me on morphine. They said I had a horrible, horrible breast infection. And then they put like 10, 15 warm blankets and they kept rotating them to try to calm me down. And I was like completely covered with these blankets. And they said, later that day, I believe it was, you have to breastfeed the baby. And I'm looking at them like, get out of town. I cannot. Not only am I tore up in the nipple, but I'm in so much pain. Because I went days like this with this pain and the boobs getting harder and harder and bigger and the red spots getting bigger and bigger before and the fever going up and up and up. So, oh my God, I kind of lost my train of thought. Anyway, so I was in so much pain to where I had even like my hands would go like this when anybody would come next to me, my mom or whoever would come next to me. I'd be like, be careful, like, don't touch me. I felt like I was my boobs were going to explode. So they said that is the only way to get the milk out of your breast. The only way. Pumping would just do what it did, made it worse and get an infection. I could have died. And so they said, ma'am, that is the only way. And I'm like, no, please, there must be another way. And they said, absolutely not. So my friend, she had an idea and she said, well, I'm going to run to the store real quick and I'm going to get what's called bag balm. I think that's what it's called. It's a green metal tin can and it's used on horses, I believed, or cows. And it's a thick ointment. So she bought it for me, brought it back to the hospital, put it all around my nipple. And she said, it's still going to hurt, but this will make it less because of the ointment. So sure enough, we put it on both of my breasts. They sat me in a chair, had these blankets hoovering over me on the back. They put the baby to the breast and she got all that milk out. And I had to go breast to breast, back to back because it was just a lot. And I still can't remember how long it took, how many hours it took to get rid of the milk fully. If it was minutes, if it was hours, I can't remember that part. But the milk did come out and I was in the hospital for almost a week. They were trying to bring the fever down, take care of the infection. I was on morphine, all this stuff. And I just felt so sad because I thought, why? I just don't understand. I've seen so many moms pop out the boob and just have a wonderful, wonderful experience. At least the part what I see. I can't tell you what they were going through in their home. Maybe they went through somewhat similar, but they made it through somehow. Maybe they really did just from day one. It was easy breezy for them. Everybody's different. So one thing I learned is not just because you have big boobs, you're going to be a great breastfeeder or a perfect candidate for breastfeeding. Not because you have tons of milk, you're going to be a perfect or great breastfeeder. It has nothing to do with that. It's all about the baby being able to latch on. And for some reason, sometimes someone with a smaller boob might have a bigger nipple. And so those nipples are easier for the baby to latch onto. And even though I had big boobs, my nipples aren't fat or big or long. They're just regular small size nipples on top of this big boob. And so I'm going to do more research into it and probably do a part 2 to this to get you some information. So if you're someone that's going through it, or know somebody that's going through it or have gone through it, what have you, I'm going to bring you back some information, some resources on how to get help. Back then, that's what I had. They talked about the football position, and they talked about their special pillows that can position the baby right up to the boob. There's a stool. That's things that were out back then in the 90s. I don't know if they still have those and those still work, and they have even more stuff. I'm sure they have a ton more stuff that can really, really help, and that if I would have had it, probably would have got me through. I know somebody that I know was starting to have that, not as horrible as me, but we're being cut up as they breastfed. So they bought these shields that go over the nipple, and they said that was the miracle cure. That worked. And they were able to breastfeed that baby and the next baby they had. So I'll put pictures in this video of stuff that, if that's still around, what worked for me and what's out there now, and probably give you some resource information. Maybe I'll attach it to the same video, but if not, I'll do a part 2 on resources and information, on statistics, what have you. But I just saw that on e-news about Jessica Simpson, and I wanted to come and share my experience. So, and sure enough, that was my last baby. My baby is 21. She'll be 22 this year. So that was my last child, and I could still have children. Believe it or not, I'm 53. And I still can have children. I still have a menstruation. And in fact, I thought I was in menopause because I think I did a video on this, but I'm just going to tell you real quick. I had missed 1 month and thought, oh my God, am I pregnant? Negative test. Second month, oh my God, then it must be the menopause. Negative test again. I finally must be in menopause. I'm finally not going to have kids anymore. Well, I went to the doctor and she said, before we give you anything, she said, let's do testing to see if you're actually in menopause and if you actually can't have kids. Well, she did the testing and she called me immediately. You need to get in here. You need to be protected. You can clearly have children easily. You are not done. You are nowhere near menopause. You have to be at a number 30. You're only at a number 3. So you need to protect yourself for another few years. So I'm in the position where I can clearly and easily have children. I don't know why. I'm at this age and I still can. It's very rare, but there are people that still can have kids. Janet Jackson had a child at 50. My mother had me at 46, and that was back in the 60s. But 53, it's incredible. But I'm not going to have children. My baby was my baby, and I love my kids. I love where their ages, where they're at in life. Of course, I miss the times when they were babies, and I wish I could have some more time with them as a baby. I thought I did, experience everything I could, and I have tons of photos and videos of them when they were babies and littles and all stages of their life, but I'm enjoying them at the age they are now and in the state of life where they are now. So, if some miracle like that happened, I would just have to pray and just, see what I feel and what me and my husband decide at that time, because we would have to think the health of the baby, what the risks are, the dangers are, the health of the baby, my life, stuff like that. Even though there are people that have babies even older than me. So, but I just pray that doesn't happen, because I am done. Of course, it's been 21 years. I love where my children are at in their life. I love where I'm at in my life. And I'm ready for grandchildren. Bring the grandchildren out. I have 2 granddaughters, but, there's really, I don't know how to say it. There's a distance. We live far away from each other. There's things that have come in between their parents and me, that we cannot really have a relationship at this point. And so I always wish everyone well. I always have them in my prayers, but this is where we need to be. And so maybe when they're older and things will be different, but it's not something that I'm planning or thinking about. I just, like I say, you love them, you wish them well, you have them in your prayers. And sometimes no matter, you tried to do what you could and it just didn't work out. So it's another subject I'm getting into, but, it just doesn't work out sometimes. So I am I am a grandmother, but I never really felt it because I felt like, there was just a lot of things that was in between us. A lot of things. There's, you know, like I said, distance, religion, all kinds of, the way I feel and think and the way they feel and think. And it's just, there's something that happened that really, it had to come to a halt for us. And like I said, you always wish people well, you love them, you can have them in your prayers, but that's where it just needs to be. And so I'm looking forward to my daughter to have children. They're working on it now. She stopped taking birth control. So, it's just a matter of time. And my daughter lives here with me, and there's no religion differences. There's no differences of ideas or opinions. She doesn't, hurt me or my children, especially a disabled son that I have, which my son is autistic. He would never be offended or hurt by her. So, it's a whole different relationship. And so, yeah. So anyway, it's a whole nother subject. It's a very private subject. It's a very complicated subject. So I'm officially what you say, a grandmother. And I had some time with them, and it was, a loving and great time while we had that time. But it wasn't meant to be, and it didn't work. And who knows what the future holds. But yeah, so I'm not trying to have children at this age, or with my baby being 21, I'm ready for grandchildren. And I hope that my daughter has a much better experience than me at breastfeeding. Each person is different. So like I said, it doesn't matter how big your boobs are or how much milk you have. Like I said, there's a lot more tools and resources and things available, to help mothers now. So, if you can breastfeed, do it. Even if it didn't work for me, even though it was extremely painful and almost killed me, I would say try it. Just try it. You never know, what's going to happen unless you try it. You could be very good at it, very successful at it. It might not be for you. It might not work out for you, but at least you can say you tried, because it is the healthiest milk. And it is such a bonding experience. Like, you can still have a bond without breastfeeding, of course, but it's just a really intimate bonding thing. And so I say, mothers, try. No matter if you have to go to work soon, even if you have 5 or 6 weeks to have as time to do it. But at least you've had those 5 or 6 weeks before you go to work, that you'll never regret it. It's just a great. And if it doesn't work out, then it's not meant to be. If it works out, then great. So to answer what I think about Jessica Simpson, I don't think she meant to mom shame anyone. I don't think she meant to say, if you can't breastfeed, if you're, if it doesn't work for you, you're a failure. I don't think that was her intent. I don't think that was in her heart. I just think to her, it just was such a great experience, such a satisfying experience, that to her, it was something she wanted to celebrate, and she wanted just to put out there, to share in some way. But I can understand how people can see that, or feel that way, but don't. I've followed Jessica Simpson. I've seen her on her reality show with Nick Lachey, and I see things about her, here and there, because she's not really in that limelight, other than, she has a line out like, I just bought for the autism gift baskets. I did 2 makeup ones, and part of it was her brushes. She has makeup brushes. She has purses, wallets. She has all kinds of things in her line of clothing and accessories and stuff. So, I've bought a few of her accessories, and I think they're great. Some designs are not my kind of thing, like leopard prints or whatever. Some are not my kind of thing, but there are some things that she has that I've bought that I've been very happy with. So every time I, hear about her in the news, I love to hear when she's having another baby, that she's doing well in her marriage. I would like someday to hope her, have her come back to reality, to maybe do a reality show. I don't think she might want to do a marriage one anymore. But I love when she had the reality show with Nick Lachey. Maybe do something about her career in designing and being a fashion designer and an accessory designer. In some ways, share more of her life with us. That would be really, really great. So knowing, following Jessica since she was a young girl and knowing the way she is, I don't think she had any ill intent to, if you can't breastfeed, if you're not good at it, you're a failure, but I'm a success. She just doesn't come out to me as that type of person to mom shame or say, I'm better than you because I can breastfeed. I just think it's something that to her, it was something so happy for her to be able to do and something so satisfying that she just wanted to celebrate it and put it out there. So I hope her fans, kind of think about it and try to understand, that that's not the personality that I know Jessica Simpson to have. And so, nobody's perfect and I can't say it 100%, but in my heart of hearts, knowing what I've seen and known of Jessica through the years, it just doesn't seem like she would be that type of person or she would have that ill intent, and stuff. And just because you can't breastfeed, it does not mean you're a failure. You are not a failure. I think you're a champion because the fact that you tried it, I think that says volumes. And I think that says you were willing to try, that you wanted that special experience. You wanted that bonding experience. There's many ways to bond with your children, just not breastfeeding, of course. And we should try them all. But I think if you can't, you are not a failure whatsoever in any shape, form, or fashion. The fact that you tried, I think, is a success itself. And that props to you and kudos to you. And, the fact that you just tried, or if you just wasn't able to do it only for a little bit, or you were able to do it for too long. My mother, she said she breastfed all her children, some to 2 or 3 years old. One time she got sick and she put Vicks around her chest, and then my sister didn't want it anymore because of that smell. It just threw her off. One of my brothers, he wanted it forever, and she's like, no, this can't happen. They start having teeth. Maybe that's the time to stop. I don't know what's really the right time to stop or the right reason. You only have to go by your own experience and your children. When it came time to me, I was the only one she didn't breastfeed. And I think she was done. She had 8 kids. Actually, my mom had 7, but my cousin's mom died when he was 3 months old, which was her sister, and she raised him. She finished raising him. So we always said he was our brother, but he's really our cousin. So she really had 7 children of her own, and she breastfed all of them. So I think by the time she got to me, she was done. And I think she just didn't want to do it anymore. Maybe she wanted to try the bottle experience. With nothing's wrong with the bottle. I mean, you have to be careful that the babies don't get air, because bottles can give air. I mean, they had that one that I said simulated like the breasts, that was, and had a baggie that they said got less air. And, you need to make sure you burp them so they don't be colicky. There's a lot of things you have to do extra with bottles, but nothing's wrong with bottle feeding. And yes, breast milk is the healthiest, but if you can't do it, you are not a failure. Just try it, because everybody's different, every situation different. Like I said, the technology that we have now and the tools that are available now are incredible. So just try it, and just trying it makes you a winner. Just trying it makes you successful. And if you're just the type of person, say, I don't want to get something started that I can't finish, I'm not really a breastfeeding type of person, that doesn't mean you're less than people that breastfeed either. It's your choice, your decision, and whatever you decide, just being a mother, is a precious thing itself. So whatever way you choose to feed your children, even with bottle and powdered milk and stuff, you're choosing the best, products that are out there. So whatever you are able to do or can do or want to do, we just love our children, and we just want to do the best that we can. And sometimes it doesn't work for us for breastfeeding, and bottle's the way to go. Sometimes we have career choices to think about, and we don't want to start something that we can't finish, and I would say if you go ahead and do those 4 weeks that you get off before you have to go back to work, I would just do those 4 weeks. I know it's hard to start something and it's hard to wean them off. And so I understand where people are coming from, where they don't want to start something that they can't finish. But I would just recommend that you try, at least if you can just get a couple of weeks in, but you'd have that experience if you can, and if you want, that's great. But whether you breastfeed or not, you know, you should still be proud of your children and the fact that you're a mom. You know, there's some people that can't be moms and they would love to just be a mom. Less much think about, you know, breastfeeding or bottle feeding, just the fact that they want to be a mom. So we just have to be, you know, think about that. But everybody's different. Everybody's situation is different. So we can't judge anybody and say that this person is a success or this person is a failure. No, everybody, you know, will choose what the best that they can and what they can do, you know, that's best for their children and them and their situation. So, you know, we just wish every mother the best, and, you know, hopefully it does work for you, because it is a wonderful experience. So that's all I'm going to say on that, you know. So that's my thoughts on what I think about Jessica Simpson and my experience with breastfeeding. So, and like I said, I pray and hope that my daughters have a better experience than me and that it all goes well. And I know that if they do happen to go through what I'm going through, that there's tools that are available to help them. And somehow me, from my experience, I'll be able to help them in some kind of way. So that's it for now on that topic. Let me know what you think. So yeah, so please subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to get heads up on all the videos I upload. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. So until my next video, take care.